Hi, folks. Welcome to the Ivy Boys podcast live here on YouTube. Like and subscribe to the page. I am your host, Chipper Lewis. Says right there, Chipper Strike 3. Joined with me today, as always, is my co-host, Joel Fry. Joel, right there, it says Fry Sports Radio. That's our Twitter handles. Joel, how's it going, buddy?
Life is good, man. Thanks for everyone for hanging in with us. We said 7:15. That is totally on me. That we are going at 7:30. So thank you guys for hanging out with us and hanging in with us on this interesting week for the Cubs. Three straight. Well, it's more than that. It's how long has it been since the Cubs have won a series at this point, man? It's been a long time.
It's been a long time.
There was a lot to talk about. One of the nice things, well, at least I guess it's helpful, not necessarily nice, is that whether the Cubs are going well or going poorly, they're a compelling and interesting team. Gives us a lot to talk about on our end. Even if the team isn't performing on the field the way we'd like them to, there are individuals we can talk about. There are things that we can talk about that maybe we think the Cubs should be doing differently or better than they are doing to turn this thing around. And even then, the Cubs, as we sit right now, are tied for first place in the NL Central because nobody wants to win the NL Central.
Exactly. That's the point that I'm going to make today. That not only me, I didn't mean to say just me, that Joel and I are trying to make today is the fact that, yes, it is frustrating because they're beating teams that they should be, they're losing to teams that they should be beating, of course, and stuff like that. But it's just, I get it. I get the frustration. I really, truly do. But it's okay because I'm here. I'm bringing it back. I'm here. There's a reason I'm wearing this shirt right here. Move the microphone out of the way. What's that say? Hashtag Chipper says relax, Joel. This team is underperforming. This team is better than what they are doing right now. You and I both know that. It's just a matter of them just clicking it. And think about that. They haven't clicked. They haven't. They may have showed it for like 2 weeks. That's about it. But other than that, they really haven't clicked. And they're still tied for first place.
So 45-39 right now. The Cubs were 23-7 over a 30-game stretch. So you take that out. You look at the rest of the season. The Cubs are 22-32. They're 10 games under 500 for 54. So for 1/3 of this season, the Cubs have been 10 games under 500, and they are being buoyed right now by an unbelievable stretch they had that had us all thinking about how this team was similar to 2016 in a lot of ways. That 23-7 stretch, which is probably the best baseball the Cubs had played in 3 years. They have followed it up with the worst baseball they have played in 3 years, in probably 4 or 5 years. And the reason I am confident saying that is because the Cubs in June finish up 14-15. That breaks a stretch of 12 consecutive winning months that the Cubs had going back to 2018. So, in 2017. Gosh, what am I thinking? That would have gone all the way back then because you didn't have a winning record in January. So, 12 consecutive baseball months where the team did not have a losing record. This is the first time. So, you take what it's worth. It's frustrating to time. You also marvel a little bit how consistently excellent the Cubs have been for a very long time. And you know what? They're still in first place. I think we're going to say that a lot today. Yes, first place Chicago Cubs to work on. You right the ship quickly, and you got to do it before the Brewers get hot because they've got a streak in them as well. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, I feel like they do too. And I mean, yes, we are going to say that. They are tied for first place, realistically. But they're still tied for first. They're still there. They go to Pittsburgh for 4 games. Pittsburgh is no slouch. But you got to win 3 out of 4, right? You have to.
Pittsburgh's a little itchy. They're the 4th place team in the division. They're a team you should beat. The Reds have had the Cubs' number this year. They have won, so that's 3 series the Cubs have played against the Reds now. Reds have taken 2 out of 3 in every single series so far. The Cubs have 10 more games they're playing against the Reds, and you really hope that 2 out of 3 stretch doesn't continue over the next 10 games. The Reds are if you look at run differential, they're the second best team in the division behind the Cubs, and it's difficult to figure out what it is about the Reds that the Cubs can't figure out. Pirates, the Cubs are doing a little bit better against, and I anticipate that to continue. But yeah, I think you're right. 3 out of 4 is a definite possibility, or it should be expected. Even though you're on the road, 3 out of 4 in PNC, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, 3 out of 4 is expected. We'll tackle something about the Reds, of course. I think you all know what we're going to talk about here with the whole Yasiel Puig thing in a minute. I want to get Joel's opinion about all that, and I'll throw you mine. I decided not to do a YouTube video about it because I feel like it was going to be strongly worded, which never has stopped me before, but it's okay. So they go to Pittsburgh for 4 games. Like you said, got to take 3 out of 4. It's funny because if the Cubs weren't playing so mediocre, because I don't want to say they're playing bad, because they're not. No, the Cardinals are playing bad. The Cubs are playing mediocre. If the Cubs weren't playing so mediocre, splitting a 4-game series against the Atlanta Braves is not bad. But because of the way the Cubs have played, people thought that it was the end of the world, that they should have, swept the floor with the Braves or something like that. I don't know. I got the sense that I feel like people overreacted with the 4-game series against the Braves, Joel. I do, and it's because the Cubs are playing mediocre baseball right now.
So you think, okay, so I don't know if it was necessarily the Braves series that had Cubs fans overreacting. I think it was the culmination of realizing you went 5-5 in a home series, and you couldn't capitalize playing against the White Sox or the Mets, and the Braves was just kind of this reality check for you. They're a very good baseball team. The Cubs are a very talented baseball team, and talent's going to win you a lot of games. I think they're also a very good baseball team. It's going to take a little bit for us to truly know. I mean, we know. Okay, so here's one thing that we have the advantage of knowing. We know a few things about the Cubs this year through 85 games or 84 games. They have a starting rotation that is capable of going very deep into ball games. They've got guys who can go 7 innings. They've got 5 guys who can do that when healthy.
Yes.
They've got 4 guys that can do that in Yu Darvish. And another thing we know about Yu Darvish is you cannot expect him to string together good starts. Whatever Yu Darvish you get that day is the Yu Darvish you get that day. You're not. He is a total season in and of himself every time he goes out there on the field. You don't have any consistency there. Other guys I feel consistent about. I feel like Cole Hamels, if you give me 7 starts, he's going to have 5 great ones or 5 really good ones.
Okay.
Quintana, maybe not exactly that, but he's more consistent than Darvish. And the third thing I know about this Cubs team is they struggle mightily with not only with runners in scoring position, but in clutch situations. That is a problem with this team, and it has been something that's happened each of the last 3 seasons.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, and I'm trying to look up their average with their RISP. I'm trying to look up as a team with their RISP, and I just can't seem to find that.
It's lower than their overall batting average.
It's
last
not good.
I saw it was like 28th in the league or something.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good.
Nope.
It's simple as that. I mean, I don't need to look up the number. I don't need to find the number because we both know it's not good, and it's frustrating. And if you look at the numbers, like let's use Kris Bryant for instance. Mm-hmm. You look at his numbers; he's putting up very similar numbers to his 2016 MVP campaign. But if you ask anybody or a majority of the people on Cubs Twitter, they don't want to re-sign Kris Bryant. Why? Because he's not clutch. He's not hitting the ball with runners in scoring position. It's not just Kris, though. It's literally everybody else.
It's everybody else except for Anthony Rizzo. I've got an article coming out Monday or Tuesday. It's almost finished. It talks about who would you like to have up in certain situations. And what do guys do? I'm looking at the Cubs core. So Bryant, Rizzo, Schwarber, Baez, Almora, Contreras. So those guys. And looking
Almora.
this season, not just at their hitting with runners in scoring position, but their likelihood of hitting into double plays. If you look earlier this week, I put up a couple of metrics, Bryant versus Rizzo, when it comes to high leverage situations. So situations that could turn a game, or the most consequential moments in an individual ball game. How have they performed? And I didn't look just at this year. I looked at the last 4 seasons since Chris came into the league. And every year but one, Rizzo does better. Anthony Rizzo is a phenomenal high leverage situation hitter. He's a guy who's capable of hitting over 300, an OPS over 1,000 in those in situations in the ball game that could turn the tide. Chris has hit below 200 in situations like that before. I'll have to pull it up in a little bit, or I'll just re-reference it in my article that I have got coming out, my blog later on the site. But he's just been flat out bad. And Javi Baez, despite being a pretty good clutch player, hits
Despite
into
being
a
awesome.
lot of double plays, a lot of them in those situations.
Yes, he does hit into a lot of. He just hits in a lot of double plays in general.
Mm-hmm.
I just saw that number. I look at me trying to be all Mr. Number. Isn't that weird? 9 double plays.
Yep.
But he doesn't
And-
lead the team.
Does Rizzo lead the team?
Yes, with 10
Yeah, but he doesn't do it in
clutch
horrible
positions. Yeah,
situations.
no, I get it.
usually.
Yeah, with runners like on first and second, or runners at first and third with 1 out. Yeah, situations like that, I get it for sure.
Yep. So here, I'm pulling it up now because I've got the ground in a double play numbers. I looked into this as well earlier this season, just because it did feel like, man, in the Braves series, there were a lot of situations where the Cubs hit into double plays and it hurt them. So I'm gonna have it up here in just a second, but it's
Okay.
it's bad for a
is
lot of guys except for one, and you're not gonna. I don't know if you're gonna believe the guy who does really well in those situations. Who doesn't ground into double plays when there's a runner on, and you have the opportunity to do so.
I know the answer to this. I bet I know the answer.
What's the answer?
Jason Hayward.
Incorrect. Hayward does
Ooh.
it the most often. So here we go.
I'm excited
Percent
now.
of at-bats with runners on that result in a double play. So guys up, you got runners on base. How often does a person hit into a double play? This year, Jason Hayward hits into a double play in that situation 8.6% of the time. 8.6. Almora, 7.3. Rizzo, 7.1. KB, 4.6. It's the worst he's ever done. It's the worst of his career. 4.6.
Wait. For reference, the lower the number, the worse?
The lower the number, the better.
Okay. I'm just making sure here because
yeah. So these are how often do you hit in a double play
Okay.
when there are runners on?
All right. I just wanted to make it clear there for a second.
Okay, if Jason Hayward has a runner on in 10 at bats, there's a chance he's going to ground into a double play in one of them. So that is bad.
That's bad. It's
Yep.
bad.
So Rizzo 7.1, Javi Baez 6.8%. So he and Rizzo about the same. These are all career high numbers, by the way. Everything I'm saying right here is a career high number except for Rizzo. He did it more often in 2017. A guy who you can count on to not. There are 2 guys who have career bests this year and not hitting in double plays. One of them is the best offense player on the team in relation to their position, and that's Wilson Contreras.
Yeah.
Contreras is awesome. 3.2%. It's the best of his career by far.
Wow.
And the guy who you one up the most with runners on, if you do not want a double play,
Schwarber?
it's Kyle Schwarber.
Yeah.
1.2% of the time.
Now, could you factor the fact that he strikes out?
Yeah, but he doesn't hit in double plays. 1 out is better than 2.
That is true.
So
That is true. You should come up with a new stat that factors in the strikeout also, though.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Right?
Maybe I will.
We can call it
The Schwarber.
I was going to say, like, we could do an anagram with Fry.
Well, either way, but what that tells you is there are guys who are having the worst years of their career with runners on, and if you watch the games, you know it. You notice it badly. It hurts, man. It hurts to have the Cubs are one of the best home run hitting teams in baseball. They're one of the best on base percentage teams in baseball. They don't couple that together well. They don't hit a lot of home runs with guys on, and when people are on, they do not get home. It's jarring to watch, and it's so frustrating as a fan.
Okay, I have a couple questions for you then about this.
Let's do it.
So this scenario. So A, is it fixable? And
yeah, it's fixable.
And B, I guess it's three questions. A and B kind of go together. Is it fixable, and can they fix it? And B, what do you think is the reason for this?
I listened to an interview that Jed Hoyer had on the Cubs flagship radio station 670 The Score earlier this week. He said that he is overcome with this problem, that the Cubs cannot, or not cannot, that means they would never do it. They struggle with runners in scoring position almost every year, and especially this year. It is definitely fixable. Ideally, you should be the same hitter, whether there's a runner on, 2, 3 runners, whether the bases are loaded or the bases are empty, you should be the same hitter up there.
Correct.
But it looks like certain guys are different when they're on. Contact, more ground balls. The Cubs hit a lot of ground balls. That's fixable, man. That absolutely is fixable. You do have a ton of ground ball hitters in this lineup. Ground ball hitters in the lineup. Jason Hayward, for sure. And then who else? That is like Albert Almora.
Yeah.
So those two guys. I don't know. I mean, Brian is a fly ball hitter. Rizzo is a hitter. I mean, there's no other way to put it.
Him and Schwarber are just hitters.
Yeah, just hitters, man. And Schwarber's a slugger in my mind.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
He hits opposite field. He's doing better. I think of him more as a slugger. I looked at some numbers that back that up based on what you think a slugger might be. He's not Joey Gallo. He's a slugger.
Yeah, Baez is more of a Joey Gallo. No, not Joey Gallo. You said Joey. Vladimir Guerrero. Swings at everything, but it works.
Great hitter, but a great hitter.
Oh, amazing hitter.
Javi's a great hitter.
Yep.
So the ground ball thing is so weird, and it shouldn't be happening. Another thing that shouldn't be happening, by the way, is the Cubs giving up outs on the base paths at the rate they've been doing.
Oh,
that's got to stop.
That is so frustrating. Now, Tuesday, I think it was Tuesday, right? Alzoli. That was his start. Was that Tuesday?
Might have been.
Yes.
I'll check.
There was that play that Baez and somebody got. There was a double play on a missed bunt by Alzoli, and I had an issue with it, and it wasn't because Baez was running down the line and Wilson Contreras was heading to third. That's not my issue. My issue is the fact that Joe was having Alzoli bunt. I mean, the guy had like 5 career at bats in the minor leagues. The guy could not handle a bat. And the thing that he could actually maybe lay down a bunt when he most likely doesn't work on it at a normal pace that, I would imagine a major league pitcher works on it, especially in the National League. It bothers me. That's what bothered me, is that he didn't just tell him, just put your bat on your shoulder. Don't do anything here. Because there was only one out. Otherwise, why would he be bunting?
Right. I think we're going to agree to disagree here. I don't have a problem with making a guy bunt if he's a pitcher and he's just going to be an out anyway. That was the worst case scenario. You try to prepare for everything, and then the second you do, the one thing you didn't prepare for is going to happen.
Right.
And I think that was probably it. A lot of that has to do with the guys on the base paths and not doing a good job. And frankly, it's just been a trend, man. And I don't know if it's because like the Javi effect of guys taking more chances or guys thinking about taking a chance and then being indecisive and deciding, oh no, I can't do this, and then getting hurt. But it's it's probably more runs than we even think of. Maybe it's guys who are not taking bases that they should. Can't think of any specific scenarios where that's happened, but I'm kind of wondering, if that's the case. And hustle plays too. Like Rizzo, remember it was a couple of days ago. Rizzo popped a ball up and was mad at himself and just kind of didn't hustle down the line. Ball got dropped. He ended up on first base, had his hands up in the air admitting to the guys, that's on me. I cost us a base there because I could have been on second.
Right.
Could have had another man in scoring position for the Cubs to not drive in, which would have been it's a different problem then, but it would have been a problem nonetheless. So I don't know, man. It's just a confluence of events. Confluence is a nice little predecessor for what we're going to have later in the show. A confluence of events that leads to opportunities missed. So many opportunities missed by the Cubs offensively.
Yeah. Wow. You definitely answered those questions. But they can break out of this, right? I mean, this team is too talented to keep doing this for 162 games, correct?
You think so?
Okay.
We said the same thing in 2017 when the Cubs were 43-45 after 88 games. They won't be that. Thankfully, they've won 45 games. So at the very least, they will be better than they were in 2017 when they won the division, by the way.
Exactly. And went to the NLCS, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Sure did. One of the craziest Game 5s I've ever seen in my life in NLDS. Holy cow.
Oh, my gosh.
So,
yeah.
Yes, it's definitely fixable. And we say this every year that the Cubs are too talented to fail. And for the most part, we've been right. The Cubs have won in the last 4 years. They've won 97, 103, 92, and 95 games. So, yeah, you win 90 games every year, you're a good baseball team, a really good baseball team. You win divisions every year, you're a really good baseball team, or at least you're competing for divisions every year. The Cubs are going to be right there. This is going to come down to the final week of the season unless the Cubs if the Cubs continue to sputter and then the Brewers catch fire and have an easy schedule at home. I haven't looked at the Brewers schedule, but if they have, a 10-game homestand, they go 9-1 while the Cubs are 4-5, and suddenly it's a 4-game lead, a 5-game lead out of nowhere, just because the Cubs were playing mediocre baseball and the Brewers caught fire. It could happen.
It could
just as easily happen if the Cubs do it.
Exactly. And okay, so little follow up here. I forgot what I was gonna say. I hate when that happens, especially when you're live. That's weird.
No, it's okay, man. So another thing we've kind of been talking about the offense, but the offense is scoring as many runs as anybody else in the division, in the Central Division. And again, the Cubs' run differential is really good.
Yeah, it's plus 64, plus 68, something like that.
I'd have to check after today's game because the Cubs lost 8-6, and it wasn't
64.
as close as it looked. Because you look at the Cubs were down 8-3, and then three runs in the ninth inning helps.
Yeah.
By the way, offensively, Jason Hayward, he can play on my team any day. He's doing as well this year as a certain free agent that the Cubs did not sign.
Go ahead and say it.
Who is in Philly? What?
Go ahead and say it. It's Bryce Harper.
Yeah, Bryce Harper, man. He's doing as well as Bryce Harper this season. Not better. Bryce Harper's really good. And you project out the 13-year career following this, 12 years following this season. Harper will probably have a couple of more MVP caliber seasons in him, and Hayward is not MVP caliber. But if you get this version of Hayward for the rest of his contract, which he's never opting out of because that is so much money for a guy who hasn't lived up to it to this point, you feel good about it, man. Let's say Hayward hits 20 home runs this year, which might actually be a step down because he's at 14 now.
Yes.
Say he hits 20 to 25 home runs for Jason Hayward. Let's say after coming into the season, you'd take that, right?
There's no doubt.
In his career as a Cub, he's hit 27.
Yeah, he has the potential. The potential is definitely there. That if he stays hot and stays on this pace and maybe just gets a little bit hotter, that he could surpass the number of home runs that he has as a Cub total going into this season just this year.
That's right. So he has 26 career home runs as a Cub coming into this year. And he's at 14 now. He needs to hit 12 home runs, which is basically what he's on pace to do, hit 26 homers this year. And he would equal – that's Tommy La Stella. Tommy La Stella hitting more home runs this year than he had for his entire career coming in.
How awesome is Tommy La Stella an all-star?
It is pretty cool.
That's
it's really cool.
cool.
Did you see Joe Madden's comments about that? How he never would have envisioned it, neither would have La Stella, that he got to play every day, and Madden never imagined that if you gave Tommy La Stella a chance to play every day, he'd do this.
I mean, here's the problem with Tommy La Stella playing every day is his defense.
Oh yeah. But
that's the problem.
The Angels aren't going to go anywhere. It's weird that the Angels don't go anywhere, man. You think they try to put a better team around the greatest player of our lifetime.
It's extremely weird. I feel like it's the starting pitching. The offense is there. The bullpen is kind of there. Mm-hmm. It's the starting pitching. They never could figure that out. I mean, when they gave all that money to C.J. Wilson was so overhyped.
Yes.
So overhyped. And they gave him a lot of money, and that hurt them so bad. So bad. And then they're afraid to take that chance again, I feel like. They're afraid to. So they're developing pitchers. Tyler Skaggs is a really good pitcher, but he's not an ace of a ball club. I still believe that Jake Arrieta would have been the perfect fit for the Angels. I really do.
Not a stretch. By the way, if you look at Arrieta's numbers, he's been worse each of the last 4 seasons. 16, 17, 18, and now 19. The Cubs did the right thing by not trying to re-sign him. I think that honestly, fundamentally, from a thought point, from a thought standpoint, and what you were trying to do, letting Arrieta walk and picking up Darvish was the right move. It objectively was the right thing to do, and yet it hasn't worked because Darvish is nowhere near the pitcher he has been at any other point in his career.
No.
I mean, it's almost like when the Cubs got I don't want to compare him to Alfonso Soriano because Soriano even had a top 10 MVP season with the Cubs. His first year, he hit 33 home runs and helped the Cubs get to win the division in 2007. So, I mean, he played well, not up to his contract, but he played well for at least 2 or 3 years there.
Yeah.
Darvish is giving you nothing, man. Absolutely nothing. And I hope that I can eat my words come October when he throws 8 shutout in Game 4 of the NLDS or something.
I want to eat crow when it comes to Darvish. I do. I have been a Darvish defender for the last year and a half. I really have, and I'm falling off. I am losing faith in you, Darvish. I don't know if he is going to be the pitcher that we expected. Like we thought we were going to get. We thought we were going. Do you remember how brilliant he was for the Dodgers down the stretch, minus the World Series? Like he was great. Outstanding. He was great. He was like Cy Young level pitcher. And then you're telling me all of a sudden you come to the Cubs and you don't have that anymore? I'll even take what he was in Texas.
Well, in Texas, he was one of the most dominant strikeout pitchers who ever lived.
Exactly, and it baffles me. It absolutely baffles me. I can understand maybe last year and maybe the beginning of this year the pressure of the contract. Okay, I can go with that for a couple of starts, for maybe like 2 months, but after that, something's got to give, and I just don't know what it is.
What would be okay? So we're turning the page on June, a 14 and 15 month, a tough month, a disappointing one that sees the Cubs in first place at the end of it somehow. July. Yu Darvish, 4 starts. What do you expect from Darvish in 4 starts in July?
I expect the bullpen to be taxed be used a lot during those starts.
Okay. Over under 21 innings pitched for Darvish in 4 starts. His first 4 starts. I don't know if he'll get 4 or 5 starts. I don't know how it works out with the All-Star game.
Break.
So say 4 starts, over under 21 innings pitched. because that's 5 innings 3 times and 6 innings once.
I'm going to say, oh, gosh. Push.
Ooh, okay. I'm going to go over.
I'm going push. And and that's because I do believe he will have one game where he does go 6 innings, but I really do not see him getting out of the 5th inning. I don't have faith that he can get out of the 5th inning. I just don't.
Okay.
He has not showed me anything why I should have faith that he can get out of the 5th inning on a regular basis.
Okay, and you know what? That's totally fair because he hasn't given you a reason. And the best indicator of future performance is past performance.
Yep.
So, all right. So that was kind of my thought. Now, another thing that got me excited about, one thing that did get me excited, I should say, about the rotation, is we've got Kyle Hendricks coming back this week.
That's awesome.
He's going to pitch in the Pirates series.
Tuesday.
Yep, that's right.
That's Tuesday.
So-
I'm excited. I'm excited because if he can come back with Cole Hamels going down and Hendricks coming back right away, and if Hendricks looks great and looks like his old self, that's a plus. That's a plus. You just made a move that for a pitcher that you didn't have to give up anything for. Isn't that the old adage there? When a pitcher comes off the DL like that or the IL off of that like that. That's awesome. That's great. If Kyle Hendricks is Kyle Hendricks, that's a plus, no doubt about it, with Cole Hamels going down. That still keeps Alzolay in the rotation.
He is in the rotation. Cole Hamels, he's down, so you got to have Alzolay in there. And I believe the way you pronounce it is Alzolay. I heard that A-Y in his native tongue is Alzolay. So
I knew that, but I was saying it wrong, and I didn't realize I was saying it wrong until you said his name. Is that weird?
No, it's fine. That's not weird.
It's like hold a tie.
Yes.
Alzolay. Yes.
Okay.
Or I can just call him.
So he stays in the rotation, and so by the way, Alzolay, 8 2/3 innings pitched. He has given up 2 hits. He has given up 2 runs. That is, he's been so great.
That's good.
Yeah, really
That's good, right? How many strikeouts?
Excellent question. I'll have to look into that. I just knew those first.
If I had to guess, 7. If I just had to throw it out there,
you're gonna guess 7.
I'm gonna guess 7. I have it right here in front of me. I'm going 7. I don't care about batting.
Okay, he has 9.
Oh.
Here's the problem. All right, so with AAA Iowa this season, he had 46 strikeouts and he had 6 walks. That strikeout to walk ratio was phenomenal. His control was great. This year, as a Chicago Cub, 9 strikeouts, still 6 walks. He has been pretty wild. He didn't seem wild his first 3 innings pitched in his debut.
I think he was.
You thought he was?
There were some that he let go of that ball, and it. There's a line from Major League, from Bull Durham, saying, "Watch your back, because I have no idea where this is going." Something like that. Crash Davis said that to the hitter when with Nuke up pitching, and there was a couple there that he let go, and that thing sailed like I don't even think it showed up on the chart for the strike zone.
Well, either way, I like what I've seen from the kid.
I do too. I really do too. And if he keeps striking people out and don't give up many hits, the walks don't bother me.
Right. And I mean, he hasn't given up a single hit with a he hasn't given up a single hit after a walk. Both of the hits he's given up are home runs that were solo homers. You can live with that. You can win with that. And that's the most important thing. So I think it's important to keep in mind that you still can't expect too much from this kid.
No. I would imagine he's on a pitch limit also, an innings limit.
So is Hendricks, I'm sure. So you got a couple of guys in the rotation right now who are probably on pitch and or innings limits for at least the next start. So this week. And that's going to be taxing on the bullpen too. So if you think about it, you've got Hendricks, who knows, maybe it's 75 pitches, which could be a complete game for him, but let's just say it's 6 innings. If it might take him 5 to get through 75 pitches if he's not sharp. And then you've got Alzolay, who is young and certainly is not going to be taxed overly. You've got Darvish, who is inconsistent and might only go 5 1/3, 4 2/3, who knows. So 3 of your next 5 games, you are almost assured to need, 10 innings, 11, 12 innings out of your bullpen over the next over the next 3 games, or 3 of the next 5 games. There's another over-under. I would say over-under 10 2/3 innings needed from the bullpen over the next 3 starts from Hendricks, Alzolay, and Darvish.
I'll go over.
You'll go over. So
Yeah.
you're thinking you're going to need 4. You're going to need 4, 4, and 3.
Yeah.
All right, that's a pretty safe over in my mind.
And I feel like Tyler Chatwood's going to be is a huge part here. And I mean, his last start, it wasn't overly impressive.
It wasn't good.
Okay, so yeah, okay, I agree with you. It wasn't good. You changed my mind. Do you like that?
With 3 words.
I mean, I was trying to sugarcoat it a little bit, but no, it wasn't. It was bad. It was bad.
He's been really good out of the bullpen. His last start was bad.
Can we
just
keep him out of the bullpen, knowing how very inconsistent and Joel's words, very bad Mike Montgomery has been?
I'd feel better about Chatwood than Montgomery. Is that weird? Out of the bullpen?
I completely agree with you.
Okay.
That's where I'm at. And that's why I think if when Alzolay starts, I like the idea of Chatwood coming in after him. I do.
Okay.
I do. And then you figure it out with Darvish. Hopefully you get a gem for whatever reason you think that. And, Hendricks, you figure it out. Maybe if he can go 5, then you can figure out from 6, 7, 8, and 9.
It's so frustrating because the talent in Darvish's arm is otherworldly. He's probably got the best stuff in the rotation.
In the rotation, yes.
Yeah. And then we haven't even mentioned the name Craig Kimbrell yet, and he saved his first appearance, so he got a save in his first appearance as a Cub. So we'll talk about that later.
His only appearance.
His only appearance. Yeah, they haven't needed him since, which is too bad.
It's just frustrating.
Yeah, he'll be nice and fresh for post All-Star game push.
Yes.
We'll see. Maybe this week he gets 3 saves. We'll see.
I'd be good with that.
I'd be good with that too.
This is the Ivy Boys podcast presented by Rebecca Lewis of Coldwell Banker Gundecker. Rebecca Lewis sells real estate. That was weird. That's not where I wanted to go with that. RebeccaSellsDreams.com. 314-369-9680. Okay, jumping gears really quick before we talk about Yasiel Puig and the Reds. What did you think of baseball in London? Are you excited for next year's series with Cubs Cardinals?
I'm excited to see. I mean, Schwarber's going to come into that series with 14 home runs and leave it with 39 home runs. That was I hear old stories about the Boston Braves or somebody, the Philadelphia A's. They used to play in this little ballpark called the Baker Bowl or something.
Baker Box.
And the home runs just flew out of there. And that was unbelievable.
That was ridiculous.
It was really compelling and interesting, and it was fun. And it was interesting looking in the crowd and seeing guys not wearing Yankees or Red Sox shirts who just they might I saw a bunch of Giants fans. I saw all kinds of different jerseys, and it just made me think that the people of London or England or Europe, because Europe is very small, it certainly could have been from Ireland or wherever. They came over just as fans of baseball, and they had a different favorite team, but they finally got a chance to see Major League Baseball in their home yard, and they wanted to check it out. So I thought that was really cool. I loved a photo of a guy. It was just a quick video of a guy who was just wearing a regular shirt, and he had a ball, and his joy on his face was so intense and could tell he was just a British guy who was there to maybe take it all in because this is a cool event that's going on in the history of England. And the fact that he got a ball, he was just so overjoyed with it. It was just I say, Margaret, I found myself a baseball. It was a really good time, and I feel like it's going to be fun next year. Cubs Cardinals. You might score 15 runs a game. You're going to make a lot of baseball fans over there in England.
Yes, you are. Here's the one thing. I loved it. I want to put that out, and I am going to rain on the parade a little bit here. Loved every minute of it. I love the idea of going over there and doing this once a year. And you have a series like Boston Red Sox. You have the rivalry like Cubs Cardinals. Maybe the following year it would be Dodgers Giants. That would be pretty cool. I'm all for expanding the game. But before we really get into doing that, we need to fix it here. And by that, I mean we have to get rid of the blackout rules.
Yes.
And my brother-in-law, Tim, who messaged on YouTube, this was his question, by the way. So this was Tim's question that I wanted to bring up to ask you. And he says it right here. Try building the game in the U.S. Get rid of these ridiculous blackouts rules. And he's true. He's right. He's 100% right. There's absolutely no reason, Joel, that Bob Marufo, BobMarufo.com, the 815, the best podcast in the 815, Beyond the Cube, is in Sterling, which is over by Rock Falls, I believe, in Western Illinois. There's no reason why he doesn't get the Cubs on his TV on a local station, and B, that if he doesn't, he can't stream it. He doesn't get to watch all the Cubs games because of the blackout restrictions. There's people in your state, Joel, that don't get to watch Cub games because of the blackout restrictions.
Or Cardinals games, or Royals games, or White
Twins.
Sox games, or Brewers games, or Twins games.
That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. That's not how you grow the game. It's awesome that you want to go to Mexico City. It's awesome that you want to bring baseball back to another town in Canada. It's awesome you want to go to England, but give the people who don't live in the cities baseball by getting rid of these blackout rules. That's how you grow the game. Start here first. Get rid of the blackouts.
Whew. I'm 100% with you, man, and well said, by the way. So you're totally right. It would be too bad because, like I mentioned a little bit ago, Europe is a small country. So I wonder what the blackout rules would be over there if they ended up having a team like the London Dash-it-alls or something. I have no idea. I don't know what they call them. But
London,
like I live in Dublin. I can't see my favorite baseball team. So
the London Bridges. I mean, come on, it's that easy.
The London Bridges. Oh,
because you can't go Royals.
No, you can't.
Even though that'd be really good.
The London Parliamentary Procedures.
Little long. LPP for short.
I'm down with LPP.
We're ridiculous. This is the Ivy Boys podcast presented by Rebecca Lewis of Coldwell Baker Gundecker. RebeccaSellsDreams.com. 314-369-9680. Let's talk Reds. Did you have a problem with Strop throwing at Yasiel Puig?
No. It was... So, I didn't check. Did Strop admit that he threw at him, or was it just that he was calling Puig stupid 5 times for coming after him in the first place?
No, he just called him stupid, which, by the way, has turned into the new boring.
I know. Yeah, so the Cubs, it took them a while, but the Cubs are making some serious enemies around baseball. St. Louis was already an enemy, but calling them boring, and you got Yasiel Puig is stupid. Puig, your stupid friend. I don't have a problem with it. I don't think he threw at him.
No, he threw at him. And you're taught as a pitcher that if you're going to purposely throw at somebody, you aim right at the hip bone. That way, because he turns his back, you either hit him right in the butt or right in the lower back where it stings, but there's no damage. That's where you're taught to throw. And Strop he executed it perfectly. That's Just want to say that is exactly how you're taught to hit somebody if you're a pitcher. And I'm with you. I have no problem with it because of the way Puig showed him up. You can't show up. There's one thing to show him up by staring at a home run. The pitcher shouldn't have given up the home run. It's simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
Strop was trying to make Puig swing away. He was pitching around him, but also trying to, maybe get a strikeout out of it, right? I mean, low and away, Puig swings at that. He does. A 2-0 count, probably not. Most likely not, but he swings at those pitches. So I had no problem with pitching around him. But then Puig throwing up his hand, shrugging, he made a scene. Puig made a scene. He showed Strop up.
Puig makes scenes, though.
He does. And he's a very talented baseball player. Extremely talented. I mean, his arm in right field rivals anybody's. It rivals Vladimir Guerrero's. It's just he's a head case. He's a better Carlos Zambrano.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, better is subjective because one's a pitcher and one's a hitter.
Exactly.
Puig is pretty good. He's hitting 240 this year, so you want to see that a little better. He made big noise when he came into the league. Very, very good hitter then. But I mean, you think about Zambrano as an all-star and a really good player in his own right. So
that's true.
But 100% that he is a problem on the level of Zambrano when it comes to his head. It doesn't seem like he's a bad teammate. Zambrano would throw fists at Derek Lee and
Michael Barrett.
But on the field of play, yes, he is confrontational and problematic if you are a member of the opposite team.
I mean, I can understand being a little pissed because you are in Cincinnati now instead of you went from LA to Cincinnati.
Right, I'm gonna go and get some bad chili.
The chili's not good. I tried it. It's nothing. My mom makes better chili. Sorry, okay. Cincinnati. I'm sorry. You're playing cards.
Fine.
You're playing cards. The decks. They make the cards, playing cards in Cincinnati. They're from Ohio. That's a thing. I know that. Is that weird that I know that?
It's not that weird.
Good. Playing cards are great. Chili, not so much. So, okay, I wanted to get your opinion about that because, yes, the Reds have been a thorn in our side. And now here's a new thing. Stupid. I'm going to enjoy this just like I kind of enjoy the boring. That's going to be fun.
So here's one thing I do notice. So the Reds, I mentioned that they have a decent scoring differential this year. A good run up, second best in the National League Central. They're getting a little chippy and they're getting a little confident. They could be a dangerous team in the next couple of years, but some of the things that make them dangerous, I don't know how sustainable they are. I mean, how old is Eugenio Suarez? Scooter Gennett hasn't been a part of this team. I mean, I want to think that they could be a sneaky good team in 2020, 2021. I don't know about that. This might be a one and done thing. And I mean, if they get it all put together, they could be a really good team in the second half of the season.
They need a catcher.
Yeah.
Tucker Barnhart is not a major league starter, an everyday starter. He's not.
No.
He's he's not. He's just not. And that's their biggest need. And they probably could use another starter and another outfield power bat. So, I mean, they're definitely pieces away. They're pieces away that aren't going to happen this year. They could get hot and scare people in the wild card. They definitely are going to be an issue going into the second half. They're going to be one of the teams that decides the NL Central. It's just a matter of the teams that are better than the Reds realizing it and just beating them. Because right now that's not what's happening. The Reds are beating everybody in the Central. It's not just the Cubs. They beat up on the Brewers. They beat the Cardinals. They beat everybody in the Central. It is just not the Cubs.
I don't have a problem with them having an attitude. I think that's just a mark of a confident team, and I'm good with it. If it was the Cubs, fine with it too. So that's the last thing I wanted to say on the Reds.
Yeah, I agree. That's all I care about the Reds. They're stupid. The Ivy Boys podcast presented by Rebecca Lewis of Coldwell Banker Gundecker, the MVP realtor of the St. Louis area. Rebecca Lewis with Coldwell Banker Gundecker can answer all your questions related to selling your home fast. Her detailed marketing plan will. Lost it there. See, this is what I think. This is what I get for thinking I know it by heart and then looking up, and then I just completely lose it. Her detailed marketing plan will outline her impressive online presence and a recommended professionals list that includes contractors, painters, home cleaning, and a home staging service that will keep your home at the top of any buyer's must-have list. Rebecca knows this area, expertly consult you on your area's property values, information about housing trends, and how Coldwell Banker Gundecker can get your home sold fast. Call Rebecca Lewis at 314-369-9680 to get your home on the market now, or RebeccaSellsDreams.com. Okay. Joel?
Yep.
I'm a little thirsty. Are you thirsty?
I am too. That's so crazy that you would say that.
All right, hang on. I got something planned.
Okay.
I think you're gonna like this. Little beer drinking music.
Beer drinking music. Okay. Let's hear it.
It's not loading. What?
Mm.
Oh, that's a shame.
You
That's
were wrong.
a shame.
I did not enjoy this.
No, don't enjoy this. Go ahead. Tell me about your beer today.
All right. I was going to do a different beer, but then I found this, and I knew about this beer. It just hadn't been top of mind, but when I saw it when I was shopping, I had to get it. This is Confluence Brewery is a wonderful brewery here in Des Moines. There are a couple of different ones that are especially well known in the Midwest. Confluence is one of the two biggest in the city. Confluence, you're going to see this backwards, but it's over the Ivy. And if you see here, this is basically their baseball-style beer.
Slide it over a little bit. We can't see the can. There you go.
All right. Over the Ivy. You see it backwards there. This is a Czech-style Pilsner. Over the Ivy, of course, an allusion to the Cubs, so it's a very appropriate beer. If you look on the can there, you might see that there is some markings here that look kind of like the Cubs marquee. Of course, none of this is an official Cubs beer or anything, just they want to give you sort of the feel of it. So it's beautiful. They say that they want to give you this is the kind of beer to pair with a hot dog at the ballpark. 1,000 voices rising in excitement as a ball goes over the fence. So this is the beer for that. I've had a sip of it. In case you're wondering, it's basically old style. A Czech style Pilsner. Yeah, it's old style. And even I don't know if you know that if you remember if you've ever poured like an old style straight into a glass, and how the head of the beer. It's exactly like old style. An old style the beer head is a little bit different than some others. So it's very similar to that too. It gave me a lot of feelings of that. So that said, I'm not great at chugging old styles. So this is going to be an interesting episode.
I am going to have issues with mine. My beer of choice, you can see on the bottom, 6 Mile Bridge is a local brewery here in St. Louis. I'm trying their Irish Red Ale. I like red ales. I do. I'm a fan, except for Killian's. I don't like Killian's. Yeah, I know it's weird, isn't it? So this is a local brewery. This brewery is a recent one. It's only about 4 years old, 2015. It's here in the western suburbs of St. Louis. Started by a couple. The guy's from South Africa, from Cape Town. He had a brewery in Cape Town. And he married a girl from St. Louis. They moved here and decided to keep doing beer. So they came up with this. One thing that's really cool about it is that it's brewed with natural flavors. I mean, natural ingredients. It says right here in the can, no artificial flavorings, syrups, or colorings. So it's kind of it's a natural beer, and it says that's the way beer is intended to be. There's not supposed to be all these like chemical stuff in it like that. So I've had a can or two already, and I enjoy it. Like I said, I enjoy Irish red ales. So except for Killian's. Again, Killian's not good. Not good. Sold by Budweiser. Yeah, that could make you think anything. Okay, we're gonna try this song. Let's see if this works. This should be fun. Why not?
Okay. I believe you. You're kind of talking it into existence. That's nice.
Yes, it is. Are you ready?
ready, man.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers. 1, 2, 3.
Was tut man denn nicht für den Fremdenverkehr? Der Fremdenverkehr zieht die Fremden uns her. Drum muss irgendwas für die Fremden geschehen, was sie bei uns nur sehen.
Go ahead. I'm keeping the music on, but go ahead. Oh, that was gross. All right.
It's a sipping beer.
Yeah.
It's a sipping beer, not a chugging beer.
No, I get it, because
Oh.
mine was the same way.
All right. Well, I'm not gonna get sick, which is good.
Yeah.
If it was a dark Guinness, I would probably puke it everywhere. But it's a good sipping beer. It's not gonna stick in my. The taste is practically gone now, so it's a nice smooth one. It's just that it's abrasive when it goes down. It's old style.
Ooh.
So, in case you're ever wondering if you can get a Des Moines area one, yes, you can.
Mine was good. Like I said, I really do like red ales. It is not a chugging beer by any means. Oh man, that one hurt.
You gonna be all right? You gonna live?
No, I'm good. It's also, it says right here, Irish red ale brewed with honey. As I chugged that down, I got the taste of honey a little bit. I could taste it. It's good. It's good. I really do enjoy this. I'm excited to try some of their other beers. Some of their other beers, though, there's like 2 others that I'm willing to try. They also have those like coffee stouts. That's not beer.
Right. Well, I've got some thoughts on what I want to do next week, so I guess I'll just reveal it that night on the podcast.
Yeah, I was supposed to do this public house Hefeweizen. I could not get it tonight for this, so that's why this was a random shot in the dark. And so it worked out. I'm going to go to this brewery and try out some of their other beers now, because I just randomly found it because I couldn't find the beer I wanted. And that's the beer I'm going to do next week, is Public House Hefeweizen, St. James, Missouri. So very excited about that.
I think I'm going to stop by Confluence Brewery, and just they're very supportive of men's groups in the area. I don't know if this is specific, but I know that there is a Catholic men's group here in town that they are supportive of, and they, host events for. So really cool of them to do that, and I appreciate it. So, I mean, hey, I've had a few of their beers now. I like them. There is one I really love. Maybe I'll do that one next week. Maybe I'll do a Confluence series or something. We'll see. But
that's a good one. I like that.
Yeah, I gotta get their half and half. I love Arnold Palmer's, especially spiked Arnold Palmer's, and they have one. So maybe give that a try and see how good it is.
That'd be really good. I'm really excited. Like I said, for people who don't know, we're focusing more on microbreweries in our state. Me, of course, Missouri, you in Iowa, and right now I'm going to focus on the St. Louis area. That's kind of where I am right now. Joel, you're kind of more just Des Moines right now, metropolitan area. Eventually, we'll branch out and do other breweries around our states, but right now we're going to focus on the big cities that we are near, bigger cities that we're near, right? I mean, it's Des Moines and St. Louis. How big could they really be?
There's plenty of beer in St. Louis. I mean, don't sell yourself short.
There is. Budweiser does not count for my tasting, by the way, because that is not a microbrewery. What's
nice is that taste of the beer already gone. So that's nice. I like the fact that it's very after it gets off your palate, it doesn't linger. And I think they might have won me over. No, I'm not going to chug one again, but just to drink calmly at a ball game or something.
Yeah.
Yes, that's happening.
It's funny because the can I had didn't fully fit in the glass, and so. After I drank that, I gave it a little bit, and I finished the can, and that wasn't that good. I wasn't prepared for it not to be that good, but I still like the beer, but that bottom of the can, that after chugging the beer didn't really work for me. So, but anyways, that's where we are. That's our
man.
That's our beer of choice this week. Mine, 6 Mile Bridge Irish Red Ale, and Joel is Confluence. over the Ivy.
confluence. Because Des Moines is at the confluence of the Des Moines River and the Raccoon River. In fact, well, it's actually Des Moines River and Raccoon River. Des Moines, for those of you who don't care, was almost named Raccoon City. Raccoon City. I think it was Raccoon City back when they were first thinking of the name of the city. It was going to be named after one of the rivers, and Des Moines won it over. There was a river before the city. Des Moines.
Thank goodness that thank goodness Des Moines won.
Right, yeah, you don't want another Coon Rapids or something. You want Raccoon City. But there is Raccoon River Brewing. Maybe I'll have to check them out, see if I can get
Try
one of their
them.
beers in a can or something and do that.
There you
So,
go.
yeah,
There you go.
absolutely.
All right, Joel. So Pittsburgh coming up, 4-game series. One game, of course, being 4th of July. How excited for the 4th of July? I'm excited. I love 4th of July. It's
I'm thrilled.
my
I'm actually
favorite
going to be in
holiday.
Missouri for 4th of July. My father-in-law has a cabin in northern Missouri, so we're going to be down there for it. It'll be a lot
Really?
of fun.
Where?
I'm going to try and watch as much Cubs as I can. At the very least, following it on my phone, listening to it on the MLB app. Since I can't get the games, I'll have to listen to them.
Right.
and enjoy them that way. So, but it'll be very exciting. Pittsburgh, I mean, that's 4 gettable games, man. I'm with you. 3 out of 4, or you
Or it's bust.
miss an opportunity.
Yeah. Where in northern Missouri? Just complete curiosity.
It's
on my
called
part.
Lake. It's called Lake Marie. It's by a town called I want to say Princeton, Missouri.
Okay. All right. That's me not knowing. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that sounds really nice.
That sounds like northern central Missouri that I don't go to. Okay.
You're
awesome.
correct. That's northern central.
Yeah. If you don't take 3 out of 4, it's kind of a disappointment.
Yep.
Oh, I remember the question I was going to ask you before our final thoughts.
Oh, here we go.
Look at that.
All right, let's go. What do we got?
We were talking about, failures and stuff like that as a season. What contemplates as a failure this season for you with the Cubs?
Missing the playoffs.
Just missing the playoffs.
Just missing the playoffs is a failure. Yep. Everything else, I'm good with. Look, man, Len Casper put this on Twitter. You know what? I'm really glad that this is what you came up with. You found this at the very end of the podcast, because this is a good thing for me to leave with before our final thoughts.
Okay.
Len Casper has reiterated on Twitter many times that, yes, you can be frustrated with the team's performance day to day, but keep in mind, this is the best time to be a Cubs fan in the 140-year history of the franchise. There has never been a better time to be a Cubs fan, and it's not really close. So you are allowed to be happy. You're allowed to enjoy the fact that this is the most talented team over a 4 or 5 year stretch you've ever seen on the North Side. You are allowed to be happy that even though you don't win the World Series every year, you're winning 90, 95, nearly 100 games some years. You're allowed to give yourself that. I'm going to give myself that. And say, if the Cubs make the playoffs, this was a fine season. I get to watch games where my wife makes weird couch noises every 3 or 4 pitches. That's what happens in the playoffs to her. She turns rabid. And we watch games together, and she'll make comments throughout the game every once in a while, like, ooh, looks like he missed a pitch that he probably should have homered on there. Says a lot, Corber. But during the playoffs, she gets crazy, and that's what I want. And I want to allow myself to enjoy that as a human being, and not go, oh, World Series or fire everybody. Enjoy it, man. Enjoy it.
Man, so that wasn't your final thought.
No, it wasn't. That was
Wow.
that was me taking what Len Casper said on Twitter and really taking it to heart, because he's right. The man is right.
Len Casper usually is right.
He's really good on Twitter.
Yeah, I really like him. So, okay, so final thoughts. Do you want me to go first, since you just kind of did that thing, or are you going to be able to lead into it and give me your final thought?
I say too many words as it is on this show, man. Go ahead. You knock yourself out. Go with
right.
the final thought here.
So my final thought is simple. It's something that I have said for the past year. And I said it all last year, and I know, yada, yada, yada. They still made the playoffs, okay? Wild card game counts.
Mm-hmm.
It's simple as this. They're still in first place. They're tied for first place right now. We're going into the last 4th of July week. They're playing very mediocre baseball. And they're still tied for first place. This team is way too talented to keep this pace going. Don't forget something when it comes to Chicago Cubs and Joe Madden's Chicago Cubs. The second half. Think about the team that they have been in the second half. Yes, last year happened, but I blame the 40 games in 40 days or whatever ridiculous number it was. That's what I blame for last year. But think of 2015. Think of 2016, 2017. What was this team? This team was a second half team. And we stated in this podcast that past performances dictate how you feel about a team or about a player. Well, the same thing goes for a team. What you think about them. The Cubs are a second half team. They always have been under Joe Madden. Now they're above 500, unlike 2017. They're above 500. They're going to be tied, if not really close, for the division lead. After the All-Star break, I feel this team is going to click because they've done it in the past. And there's no reason for me not to think they're going to. Joel?
Here's the bottom line. And I made a prediction that Javi Baez would have a big week, and he hit one home run. It was a big grand slam.
There was
he had
a
a pretty
huge home
normal
run.
week. He was fine. It was a good week. June is over. The Cubs went 14-15 in June. You play fewer games in July. This is going to be a prediction that doesn't flesh out until September is over. But here's what I'm going to say. If the Cubs lose fewer than 10 games in July, they're going to win the division. If the Cubs lose 10 or more games in July, there's a good chance they lose the division. Because I don't think the Brewers are going to be right around 500 for long enough. The Central is a division that is beating up on itself over and over again to the point where now people are wondering if it's even a good division. The Central is really good.
It's a good division.
Really good. And the Cubs have to find a way to beat the teams they should beat in their own division, which honestly is everybody, but be realistic, you can't win every game. If the Cubs lose fewer than 10 games in July, they're going to win the NL Central. That's what I think.
Wow. Bold prediction coming from Fry Sports Radio. Right there.
That's me, at Fry Sports Radio.
You can get that on Twitter at Fry Sports Radio. That's how you follow him. Wow. That's huge. That's huge. I thought I was going big with the hashtag Chipper Says Relax. I thought I was cool bringing that back, but man, you went there.
I mean, if you have a good July and separate yourself a little bit, I don't know. I don't think. I mean, again, it's one that's not going to flesh itself out for a while, but we'll see what happens.
So let's see here: Pittsburgh White Sox, Pittsburgh, Cincy, San Diego, San Francisco, Milwaukee, St. Louis. Now I have a question. The St. Louis series has 2 games in July. And the last game's in August. So, August 1st? Would you agree? Are we going to go with that?
Yeah.
To hold your prediction?
We'll
give you the St. Louis series.
Okay, we'll go with that.
Okay. I'm excited now. This is a winnable month.
It sure
looking at
is,
the
man.
schedule.
It really is. You're not going to put away the Brewers this month no matter what you do, but you can really separate yourself the way they're playing. You can go into August leading by 4 games if you just play Chicago Cubs baseball the way you know you can with this team of talented players. Very talented.
Very talented. This like I said, it's a very talented team. It's too talented to be this mediocre. Yeah, Brewers don't have a very easy July. Cincy, Pittsburgh, San Francisco, Atlanta, Arizona, Cincy, Cubs, and Oakland. Those are not winnable games. I mean, that's kind of tough.
That Atlanta series is going to be a gauntlet for them. That's going to be a tough one. They don't match up well with Atlanta, I don't think.
They have a 4-game series in Arizona in July.
Ooh. Glad I'm not them.
Yeah, me too. We play them a lot in the second half. Did you know that?
That makes sense.
1, 2,
I mean, the schedule makers want to have good, compelling series, and you knew that the Cubs and Brewers were going to probably be the two teams that were there at the end. So, yeah, it makes sense, and it works for me.
10 games.
Hey, the Cubs play 10 games against the Reds in the second half, too. So.
Yep. So, anyways, folks,
Yep.
That's it for us. Follow us, like us on Twitter at the Ivy Boys. You can follow me on Twitter at Chipperstrike3, just the number 3. Follow Joel on Twitter at Fry Sports Radio. You get awesome predictions like that if you do. And Joel does also put out these awesome stats that are, gosh, he's the number guy. What do you want me to tell you? He's the number guy. So definitely follow on him if you want those numbers kind of thing. It's really cool. Like us on Facebook. Facebook, yada, yada. Like and subscribe to this YouTube page. More followers, the better. Also, you can turn on the notifications so you know when we go live. You know when I have one of my rants on YouTube. And also coming soon, you know when Joel is going to be on YouTube with possibly a food critic kind of thing. Kind of excited for that one, Joel.
So let me talk about that for just a second.
Please
Sorry.
do. That's why I was leading into it.
Before our next show, next Sunday night, I am going to be it'll probably be next Saturday. No, before then, Monday, Tuesday, since I'm going to be in Missouri the rest of the week. So tomorrow or Tuesday, I'm going to be doing a segment called Fried Foods, FRYD Foods. I am going to be comparing and taste testing 2 places in the Des Moines area that have Chicago dogs, their own versions of Chicago dogs. I'm going to talk about them extensively. I'm going to taste them. I'm going to tell you which one is better in my mind. But I implore you to try both because they will both have their charm. I've eaten at both places. I'm teasing a little bit. I'm not going to tell you the places they are yet, but I will on the show. I've eaten at both places. I love them both, but I've never eaten them back to back. So I kind of want to know, based on how they taste one after the other, which one is better. You're going to find out as I find out on Fried Foods.
I'm very excited for this. The YouTube page is kind of where it's at. Twitter's where you interact with me and Joel. Facebook's where you interact with Bob and me. But YouTube is kind of turning into our baby. This is something we're trying to grow here, and segments like that and my little rant videos is just the beginning of the content that is going to be coming to this YouTube page. I have an idea for something like Joel's idea, the fried foods. I'm going to take our little beer tasting that we do here, and I think I'm going to expand that and actually do a YouTube video at these microbreweries. That's kind of the idea I'm going. YouTube is where it's at. So like and subscribe to this YouTube page if you actually care about our opinions. Nothing, Joel? No, you're going to laugh at me on that one?
No, I was with you. I agree that if you care about our opinions, you should check it out. I think that's really awesome, man. Going to the breweries. I mean, if they let you do that, go for it. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that would be amazing. But yeah, it's just ideas, but it's going to be ideas like that. And that's just the beginning of the content on the YouTube page. It really is. And I'm very excited about it. So like and subscribe. Head over to our website, theivyboys.com. Joel's blog, the one you talked about that's coming, what did you say, tomorrow or the next day?
It'll be the next day. It'll be Tuesday.
Blog coming Tuesday. I'm very excited about that one. The ground and double play ratio. I'm also excited to see if you can come up with that.
It's more about who do you trust in the clutch,
In the clutch. Okay.
and who should scare you when they're up in certain situations.
Yes. Addison Russell.
In all situations.
In all situations, he's not good. I'm also very excited to see if you can come up with that new stat with the clutch and then the strikeout, also the ground and double play strikeout ratio kind of thing that we talked about. I'm very excited about that. Anyways, so definitely check out the website. Check out for Joel's blogs there. You know the routine. Follow down. Go all the way down the website page and click on Bob's name, BobRufa.com. BobRufa.com. If you need anything done and you like the way our website looks, you like the way this hat looks, this t-shirt that I'm wearing tonight, hashtag Chipper Says Relax. If you like anything like that, logos, you like all our stuff, it's Bob. Contact Bob Marufo at BobRufa.com. He'll help you out with anything. If you want anything done on the website, he'll work with his buddy Vince. Vince does our YouTube page. Bob does our website. They're an amazing team. And they're also do their own podcast. So definitely check that out. Beyond the Cube at beyondthecube.com. They're on all the places. You can download their podcast anywhere. iTunes, Spotify, Google Play Store. Any place you can find us, you can find Beyond the Cube, the best podcast in the 815. But anyways, I guess that's it, right? Right, Joel? That's it.
I'm good, man.
I can't think of anything else to say other than, folks, thanks so much for listening and watching. We appreciate the support, and we will see you next episode. Go, Cubs.